Okay, I'm going to try for one more session. I'm actually trying something a little different this time in the sense that I didn't wait the entire about 50 minutes or so for the video to render, so the rendering is actually still happening in the background. Screencast-O-Matic has a render in background feature, so I'm recording this session while the last one is still rendering. I'm probably tired. My back and my neck are killing me, and weirdly have been all day. So I might get loopy and do one of my another of my switch statements and do something really crazy. Don't know, but I want to make some progress. I would really like it if I could get this. I could get all the little data structures represented on screen. The only data structure I've really built so far is a Tableau, which is cool that we got it represented now. Ooh. I was wondering when that would happen. Because this, let's see, this 4 right here, 4 of diamonds, that should be red. Let's see when else that happens. None of those are red. Red, red. Color, color, color. One of the cool things with the JavaScript is I can actually do this. How would I do that? What is it called? It's called, what I could say, Tableau. Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Suit color is undefined. How could that be? Suit color for some of these is undefined. Oh, okay. They're the numbers. That's what it is. I never made this change in the default. So new card, face counter. Face counter and color. Okay. There we are. So a lot more red showing up there now. So all of them are now. It was that it was only did the ones up here, and those are only I'm calling that face cards. Let's find out once and for all if that's the right term. Face card. What is that? Yes, I'm right about something. A playing card that is a king, queen, or jack of a suit. Okay. So, I accidentally dragged and dropped something. Oh God. What did I do? Like, I swear Catalina is like really slow. I don't know. I thought it was just that it was fresh and it was certain stuff that, okay. Okay, so it was that I only put the color in the face cards, and so the number cards like this one were still showing up black because color was undefined, because those get defined down here. Okay, so now everything. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Now, I'm going to have to start looking back at, which not yet. I don't need to look back at how to play solitaire just yet. The two data structures that need to be made, the two main things are the stockpile and the foundations. There's 4 foundations. And there's 4 foundations and the 1 stockpile. The stockpile can have up to 3 cards out that are face up at a given point in time. Something else I'm noticing that I'm going to have to deal with here is the fact that I'm seeing that this is all the way down to the bottom already, like of this division here. This can get really long if I start adding cards in here, so I'm going to have to like adjust for that, which I guess, being that these are flexible, they'll just grow in response. I guess the page could become really long, but for right now, whatever. All right, let's deal with the stockpile, because that's going to be anytime I think something will be the most complex part, it won't be. It'll be something else. So I think the stockpile is the most complex of the two. So for the stockpile, the reason I'm thinking it's the most complex is because when we deal the cards, where does that take place? Deal cards. All right. When we deal the cards, all I can see here now is that I need to refactor this some way. And how many lines is this? 173 down to 254. There's some way. That's almost like 100 lines of code. There's got to be some way. There's got to be some way I could simplify that, because there's so much repetition in here. I think I could probably do it like in a for loop, just like the other thing, but not right now. But when we deal the cards, we start with card cursor at 51, and it keeps getting decremented. It deals out 28 cards. Okay, the way I was thinking about it, I was thinking that it was leaving gaps in there, but it doesn't, because it deals out 28 cards all the way down in sequence. So that means that 52 minus 28 is 52 minus 28, 24. So that leaves 24 cards. What I need to do is figure out a way to take note of that. I need to figure out a way to take note of that. And I think the way to take note of that, I'm noticing, I think possibly the way to take note of that is to just, when I take the card out of the card deck here, Well, no, I'm not actually taking the card out of the card deck. I'm just basically cloning it over to Tableau. What I could do is nullify that card at that index in the card deck, and basically make that index undefined. And then it would allow me to come back and feed those into the stockpile. Basically turn the part of cards that is not null into the stockpile. This also might be the opportunity. I don't want to do a refactor right here right now because that's going to take time, because this could literally be one for loop. Yeah, I could come in here with a for loop. And say, because local I mirrors the case, I can just come in here and say for using column, while local I is equal, while local I is less than column. While local I is less than or equal to column. Do this. Use column. It can't be that simple. Use column. For goodness sake, let's try it. Let's say for, let's just copy this. Like, it can't be this. I was just roughing it out, I don't know. And then just come in and do this. While local I is less than or equal to column. Column at the index of local I. Let's see. There's the end of this. It's there. Okay, what should this do? We have column at 0, card cursor is 51, local I is 0. We come in, column is at 0, while local I is less than or equal to column. Do this. It's going to do that if local I is equal to column. Then we want to put the card face up, decrement card cursor, increment local I. So let's say it's 7. Let's say it's at 6. So this makes it 7. Local I okay, this is local I. Local I, yeah, it gets incremented to, let's say column was 7, and then it was 6, so it gets incremented to 7. It is equal. It does that. they're both the same. And so that happens. Comes back around. Card cursor gets decremented. Local I gets incremented. It's 8. So it comes back around, gets zeroed. Yeah. Let's see. Nothing should change. And then I'm going to have a cry. Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy. So all this from line, what is this? From line 186 down to 266. So there's 80 lines of code. 266 minus 186. Yeah, 80 lines exactly. 80 lines of code was just like a really thoroughly expounded for loop. I noticed that yesterday at the end of it. Okay. So it's the second time, which is cool. It's making the code like easier to deal with though, because all this scrolling up and down is crazy. But hey, that's what you got to do when you're trying to rough out. When you're trying to rough out something and just sketch something together to get something working. This, I think, it's more concise, and I think it's actually a good use case for that because I do have different conditions here. I would be checking the value of this, and this just makes it. Anytime you see a repetition, though, anytime you see a repetition, something could probably be fixed. It's just that I'm doing something different there. I didn't come in here for a refactor. Did not come in for a refactor. This one was just quick. That refactor was pretty quick. So now it's easy to misdeal cards now. But here in deal cards, when we deal the card, right now I'm trying to make the stockpile. When I deal the cards, this makes it cool because I can just do this in one place. I'm basically copying over from there. Right now, while I have card cursor at that location, I can say cards at the index of card cursor. Becomes also nullify it because I don't know the nuance of the undefined situation. So we're going to nullify it. Anything that just got selected, we're going to nullify it. What that will then do, it's modified cards. So if I go here after I deal the cards, I can get rid of these tests now. And get rid of all these tests. Okay, if I come here after I deal the cards, if I come in here in console.log cards, I should see nulls at the tail. Yeah. So the first up to index 23. Yeah. So 24 cards are basically remaining in the deck. All right. What I can do now is to make that the stockpile. Since those are all null, that'll allow me to search them out, to basically, how can I do that cleanly? I just want to How can I do that? Let's see if I, rather than nullifying, let's see if I just make it undefined. Let's see the nuance in that. Say undefined. We'll see them as empty. Let's see. JS empty array. Elements. Hello. I'll say empty and array, substituting the array with well, I should clean the original array. Alright, forget that. I'm just gonna nullify them. That's null. Alright, and then what I'm gonna do is after that's done, I can just have this return. This is not really semantic because it doesn't make it clear. I can say var stockpile is a new array with 24 spaces. It's kind of a waste here, but I can say for I, let's see, card cursor at the end of this. Okay, card cursor at the end of this is actually at 23. So I could just go ahead and use card cursor all the way out. Card cursor greater than or equal to 0. Card cursor minus minus. And then just say stockpile the index of card cursor equals cards at the index of card cursor. Cards at the index of once it's empty, once it's done, then I'm just going to say cards. Just blank it out. Just point it. Nothing else should be pointing at it. And then I'm going to return stockpile. And then that'll let me do this, where I say deal cards. I can say var waste pile I'm just going to call it pile equals deal cards. And then I'm going to log pile. Let's see. Yeah. so now we have a pile of cards. Okay, so we have our stockpile. I'm going to use the word stockpile and then come back here and use a different version. Just tell it return pile. I don't know, that gets weird. I don't like using the same value. And then 2, that's a global. That's a global, so that needs to be different. I don't know. That's weird. Because I would be redeclaring it. I think it would just see the local version anyway, but whatever. Let's make sure that works. Okay, that works. Okay, so we have a stockpile. Now I need to represent it on screen, which is not super complex because it's just, it's always going to be face down. It's always going to be face down. Okay, so it's always face down, which means which means for all intents, I don't have to represent it at all. What I do need to represent is whenever one of them gets turned over. So I need to put a page division in place there next to pile to be able to hold 3 items next to each other. So I can get rid of this now because it's like literally not relevant anymore. Where is that? This is the pile. All right, right next to it. I'm just gonna copy this. It'll put it beneath it if I do it like this. What did I do? Why did it do that? The whole thing is the play area. The H1 is inside there. This is the pile. Oh, okay. They have the same ID. I would say pile top. Why is it seeing this as being the parent? Why is it seeing that as being the parent of? Oh, Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I'm statically accessing. That's right. I'm statically accessing the third child element of play area in order to get this. So okay, in order to feed these in there. I need to try to be a little smarter about how I'm accessing it and see, is there a way that I could access the child, know if I could access it by ID. Certainly I could just do document.getElement by ID and then say append child, right? What is that item? That is the table box. Surely I can just say var document.get var table box equals document.getElement by ID table box, and then use that to just come here and say table box dot append child and append call to it, right? Yeah. Which then allows me to be able to, like, certain stuff starts to make more sense, which then should allow me to do this. There we go. Okay. All right, pile top. I need to style it. I want pile top. How do I want it to look? So it's basically like it can be up to like 3 cards, like this. Basically, a fan of cards. It can be basically 3 cards, up to 3 cards, like stacked on top of each other. The topmost being the one available for play. How can I represent? Which I don't think there's any reason. It's just that you can, because you can only play the top one. So I think it's basically that. I think it's basically that. So I'm going to say avail and then let's change the font size to be 0.5 em. Let's set the width to 20%. Oh, yeah, I was about to say, why am I refreshing for HTML? That should be live. I'm going to have to set the display to be inline so that it can sit next to that one. Come on. Oh, come on. All right, forget it. All right, whatever. Try it one more time. Okay. So I need to set pile, the original pile to display. The original pile to display inline block. That'll cause it to take up any available space. And then also to set pile top to display inline block. Okay, that puts them next to each other. I'm going to shrink pile top to 10. Okay. Okay. I'm going to end up pushing those over with the foundations. They're being centered because they're inline right now. So I'm going to push them over. I won't be able to put anything in here until I've actually added a mechanism to flip over a card from the pile. We represented the pile now in data. It's there. The stock pile is there, and it's accessible. I need to create something. So we have stockpile. I need to create something var stock pile available equals it's just an undefined thing. It's just there. All right, it'll be a card. Okay. Because there's only one. And we'll deal with if there's a limit. You can only flip 3 or whatever. We'll deal with that later. All right. So now I need to add. So that bit is done. I need to add. I can change the font size on that back because that's what's making it. shrink. It's not even necessary. Let's override, say text align start. How do I do that? I don't want it. I want it at the top. What's doing that? Is container. What's doing it? Play area. The text align center is doing that. How can I want it at the top. I don't know, that isn't even a big deal at all because the available will go away when there's a card there. Okay. All right. So got that. That's done. Let's do the foundations. Foundation. Where's foundation? Where's the HTML? Getting tired here. HTML is right here. I'm gonna copy this, paste it in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna call it foundation 1, foundation 2. Oh no. Foundation 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm just gonna say those. Put that there, just like that. All right. And then I need to style these. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give them a class. And then I'm gonna come up and style that separately. The foundation, first off, will have display inline block, and we'll have a width of, there's going to be what? It'll have a width to start off, and we'll give it a width of 10%. Still not enough to make them. All right, I'm gonna have to make my I'm gonna have to make my font size smaller. Pile font size 0.5 em. Font size 0.5 em. And then what else? The foundations. Font size 0.5 let's see if that shrinks them, but it doesn't shrink. Let's set the foundations to be 7%. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give them a darker background color. Background color, dark green. Okay. And then the pile top, it doesn't need to be, I'm going to make it a little narrower. And then I'm going to put a margin to the right of it. Margin right is going to be, I'm going to make it, let's give it 10 pixels to the, no, 20 pixels. There we go. I even make it 30. Yeah. All right, so those are there. They have a representation on screen. What I need to do now is to represent them in data. The max, we know the max of a foundation is going to be the max length. They're going to have to be arrays. We know the max length of a foundation is 13, because it's basically all the cards. So what we'll do is, how do we want to do that? Where does it need to go? It's going to have a representation. Oh, and the top of the pile is also going to have a representation in the data display. Okay. So we're going to come here. And we're going to say var stock pile, let's just say pile top equals document dot get element by ID, and it is what? Pile top. That gets us a reference to that. And then the foundations, we're gonna just have to get those separately. Var f1 equals document dot get element by ID foundation -1 f2 equals document dot get element by ID foundation 2, and then three, 4, and 3, 4. All right. So we have hooks into each of those. Pile top and the stockpile itself both have data, both have data, both have corresponding data objects. Now the foundations need data objects. So var foundation one. How can I shorten this up? Data F1 equals new array with 13 slots. Two, three, four. All right. These were all declared with var and not this because I'm not going to be accessing them from outside of the array, so that effectively makes them private, which could help us in distinguishing them by I can do that and put a underscore at the beginning of them. That was something I remember I used to do. I learned that somewhere, to just semantically distinguish them. Okay. So there's now a data representation of the foundations, of the top of the stockpile, and of the stockpile. I'm trying to think of a more useful useful something to put in on pile. I guess I could put the number of cards. I could put the number of cards in the stockpile on top of that. Just gives another data point to keep up with, though. But I can put the number of cards in the stockpile there, because I did see in some of the rules that when it gets down to the last 6, you can just go through one at a time or something like that. Okay, so now this is a critical juncture, right, of the game's development, because we are now at the point where we need to begin to create interaction in some way. All the data, the data model is fully described in terms of the kind of static structures. The data structures are all there. The foundations are all there. Their arrays are represented in data. The pile is there. It's represented in data, and Tableau is there and it's represented in data. We have a card deck. It gets shuffled and it gets dealt. And so for all intents, the game is ready to begin. I've done a lot more styling than I intended to do. But it's all there. Now it's time for some interaction. That sounds like a great thing to pick up tomorrow. It's 9 o'clock and I'm beat. But before I do that, something I want to do is I want to clean up my kind of the structure of this code. I'll just add some organization sort of stuff. right now, the way this works is it just comes into script and it just starts running, which is fine. But it would be cool if I could split it up into modules. It's just that, I've started building, like I have these globals here that all these functions have access to. Which I'm going to have to leave that way for right now, because that's just the way that I've structured everything. What I want to do eventually is to, I'll take this probably and split it off into separate files. Definitely split off data display into a separate file, because it is an object, and let it have its own file where it's defined. And then these functions, I can split them off. I can create a data model class, like a data model object. Not object, which class, I guess, and create a data model class and take all these things that actually create. I can definitely split card off into its own file. And then just sort of take all these things, create deck and deal cards definitely go together. Shuffle deck, all that goes into like a utility sort of class. That's some restructuring that could be done, honestly. I guess later. All right. Let's create Tableau. Could go. I want to move a card up top. I'm gonna move card up top, like here, and then give it its own sort of announcement card class. Come here, end card class, and then create Tableau and move it toward the bottom after kind of after everything is done. Yeah, because it is, just so that the flow is kind of logical. I'm gonna make these are like utility functions. So say utility functions. These setup, initialize, game, and then just sort of come down to the bottom here and just put that there. come back up top and card class. Card object defined here. All right. So it's interesting enough. Let's give some visual demarcations of everything. Let's create deck. That ends there. Shuffle deck. That ends there. All right. Yeah. That's just fine. Okay. Let's say let's do this globals and end globals. And then this initializes the display. It is technically a global. I'm going to move this up because it is a declaration. And then this init display. And then give it that whole thing here. This is nothing. This is just sort of, I don't know. This is just sort of something, to do. All right, it makes the file. At least you can kind of find. You can kind of know where you are as you kind of navigate the file. In the display class right here, these are the utility functions. You can see the separations between the ones that are separate. I'm going to demarcate this one and say inner function of create deck. Just to make it clear, we're still in there. All right. I'm gonna demarcate that one. End generate suit. Yeah. My stomach is growling after dinner. All right, so that's a cool, this kind of organizational sort of stuff. So yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna come back, God willing, and start actually implementing some actual activity in the game. I need to invent the method, because this is not going to be like drag and drop. So I'll have to do something. It'll be interesting. Maybe a text box or something to input, I don't know, an instruction, or maybe buttons. I don't know. The user interface will be interesting, because I think when I started it, I was thinking kind of, I think maybe of a command line game, and I've done a little bit more of a graphical representation than I think I initially imagined. So that's going to be interesting. So until tomorrow, I'm going to get a little rest, so maybe I won't be as loopy, and maybe I can clean up some of my verbosity in some of this code, which I got most of it. This, I think, is fine. So see you tomorrow.